Welcome to the Real Healing Institute. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I am a divine healer and spiritual teacher who recently moved here to Sedona. So if you happen to be going through Sedona, come by and visit me. We hold daily circles. And if you aren't here in person, you can join our daily circles through Zoom, because we do that as well. But if you happen to be here, please stop and visit, because not only is this an amazing place, but I would love to meet you in person, and so you can really feel these energies in person, although people don't seem to think that it matters when they're through Zoom. When we're sending out energy and all the things that we're doing, they are receiving it, they're feeling it. It's pretty amazing. So anyways, we are going to talk today here. I had somebody comment, and I thought that this was such a fabulous comment/question, because I'm sure that so many people have this exact same question. Sorry, we got so many things going on around the house right now. Anyway, so their question was, they said, I will only speak good and offer up good words. However, can I still feel disdain for this person? I don't need to be their friend again when I can't ever trust this person again. It's like I forgive, but I can't forget. Otherwise, you might attempt to hurt me again. So I'm sure that this has been the case, for you, that you think, okay, I'm not going to use these words, because we know that words hold frequency, right? This is why a rock is a rock, because that's the word, that's the name that it's got. So it knows what it is, just like a walnut seed knows what it is and becomes a walnut tree rather than an oak tree, right? So definitely words are powerful. And words with conviction are extremely powerful. But what about our thoughts? What influence do they have? So, when you're little, and I never actually had Santa Claus. My parents were like, yeah, no, not a thing. So I'm just kind of giving an example. Maybe this was you. But, the whole, Santa Claus thing where he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. I remember thinking, well, the dude can read my thoughts. And here's the thing, there's not a dude, but it's you. And so you know your thoughts. And so let's say that you have thoughts of disdain for somebody. What does that feel like when you're thinking those thoughts? It doesn't feel great, right? Maybe at the time, maybe depending on where you're at before, maybe it feels better from where you were at before. If you were like really angry or really, towards somebody, maybe that feels better. But what feels better between, let's say, disdain and thankfulness, right? If somebody gives you a gift and you receive it, do you want to feel the feeling of disdain, or do you want to feel the feeling of thankfulness? Obviously thankfulness, right? Because it feels so much better. But to get from that place to the place of thankfulness, this can take a bit of work, right? There has to be deep understanding that can come. You know exactly what I mean. When somebody has said something to you at some point, and you might have heard it 1,000 times, you might have even thought it yourself, but they used different words, they used a different frequency, they used a different tone, and when they delivered their message, it like hit you. You're like, oh, wow, okay, I get it on a deeper level now. So what happens? We are creating heaven here on earth, right? We're creating heaven, and once we get to the tipping point, the 100th monkey, we've talked about this a million times. If you don't know about it, look it up. Once we get to that tipping point of consciousness, where all of a sudden everybody shifts, even the people, your so-called enemies, everybody shifts at the same time. How do we get there? Ask yourself, when you have a question like this, ask yourself, well, would they have disdain in heaven? And the answer is gonna be no, right? And sometimes we gotta ask ourselves this 20,000 times a day. 20,000 times a day. Would they have this in heaven? No. Okay. So then I need to stop thinking it. This is how you know if something's true or not. When you think it, do you feel free? You'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And it actually feels like freedom. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you think that you're, not deserving or worthy of goodness. Okay. So what would that feel like when you think the thoughts that are associated with that? Do they feel like freedom? They certainly do not feel like freedom. Why? Because I don't care how many years you've believed something like that. It's not true. That is like, believing the color purple is actually the color orange. right? It doesn't matter if you've believed that your whole life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make it true just because you're like, no, it's true. No, it doesn't make it true. Just because you believe something, it's not necessarily the truth. So we believe many things. Most of us believe many, many things that are not the truth. We believe in our past. And we believe that our past is going to come back to harm and wound us. I have a perfect example of this. Let's say you get into a new relationship and you see some type of behavior that mimics something that you've seen in the past, even though it's not, even though it's a totally different person. What's going to happen if these wounds from the past are not healed? You're going to see that thing and you're going to react to it probably exactly like you used to, and it's going to make you feel a certain way, probably exactly like it used to, and then you're going to put your faith in it, and you're going to start believing in it, and you're going to say things like, see, I'm just doomed. Every time that this happens. Maybe you've had 5 relationships and they all end the same, and there's always the same pattern that goes on. This is showing you the beliefs that you hold. That is showing you nothing more than that. That's the only thing. It's the only thing it's showing you. Because our beliefs are consciousness. Our thoughts are consciousness. Where there is life, there's consciousness. It's present. And where there's consciousness, there's life. You cannot escape your mind. I bet that you know this quite well, right? You can't escape your mind. It's always there. And so this consciousness, imagine that your consciousness is not just like, right, we think of these thoughts like that they're up in some air bubble, right? Because we've seen that a million times, right? Oh, my thoughts are up in some air bubble. But imagine that those thoughts are actually solid, that they actually produce visible matter because they do. And the more that you think them, the more solid they become. But here's the thing. The reason why you're thinking them, the only reason why you think them in the first place is because there is a belief that is attached to them. Always. Every single time. Always, always, always. And so because there's a belief that is attached to it, examine the thoughts that you have, and then you'll be able to figure out what beliefs that you have, which ones go along with it. So let's say that you think, that people are mean and rude to you, or something along those lines. I don't even like speaking these words, because I know that words are creation, but I need to give examples so that, you can understand. But I don't want you speaking these words, and you're welcome. So let's say that, someone is, like I just said, and you experience this regularly. Okay, so probably the first time that it happened, somebody was having a bad day and reacted a certain way. Now, what happened in that situation? Rather than you thinking like, oh, somebody's just having a bad day, it's really got nothing to do with me. No, this is not how it is, right? We're humans. So we take it on and we're like, oh, somehow this is my fault, oh, this thing. And then you probably ruminated about it and thought about it quite a bit, right? Maybe you spoke about it. Maybe you told people about it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you just held it in and suffered with it. And then either way, what happened? A little bit of fear developed because you didn't like it. You didn't like it at all. And so this fear developed of, I hope that this doesn't happen again. But what happened? You believed in the fear rather than seeing, this person was having a hard day. Maybe I could have reacted in a very loving way and had them shift what was going on. Maybe I was just a witness to, this person's day that they were having, and what a blessing that is that I'm not this way, and that I don't encounter this often, and that this is the first time that this has ever happened. Everything is perspective. Like we talked about that angel, I can't remember the name of this angel, if it's even got a name, but the one that's kind of, creepy looking in my opinion, this covered with the eyes, completely covered with the eyes. It's covered with eyes on the wings, it's covered with eyes on the body. And when this angel appeared one night in circle, which you can join our daily circles, by the way. But anyways, when it joined our circle, I was like, dude, what is this? And then it told me, it is the angel of perspective. Which eye do you need to look through so that you can gain the proper, true, divine alignment perspective? Because if you're thinking something and you do not feel freedom, then you are not thinking something properly. The mind has gotten out of control, which is what happens because we're freaking humans. And the ego takes over and it goes, oh, this person was rude to me. Oh, and it makes all these excuses, and it goes and it complains to other people, and it speaks about it, and it cements it even more solid, because your words are seeds. You're planting these seeds. Do you want these seeds to sprout up and harvest? You got to be careful with what you're speaking. But we go around and we complain about these things, and we're planting all these seeds, and then it happens again. And we're like, well, this keeps happening to me. And then we complain about it more, and then it becomes a thing that we think is our thing. I've seen this 100 times. That the same type of incident will happen to the same person. Why has that never happened to me? Why has that never happened to this guy over here? Why? Because each of us have different consciousness strains. It's like they're strands that are going out, and we're pulling things in. We're magnetizing them to us. This is because of electromagnetism. Your electric thoughts go out, and through magnetism, they are returned back to you. This is what brings order into chaos in this universe. This is the laws of the universe. This is how it works. It's not some God on high that's smiting you for all these things. No, we do all these bad things to ourselves. We do them to ourselves. But we also do all of the good things to ourselves as well. It goes so much deeper than that, because there's karma from past lives and all the things that play into this. So, if you're born into a household and you're like, I didn't do anything when I was a little kid to deserve that. We come in to learn certain things, and some of us have to have these really harsh childhoods so that we can have our hearts broken open, so that we can expand the field of our consciousness, and so that we can fill it in with higher expansion, with healed thoughts, healing frequencies, healing the fabric of the universe, as we talked about a couple days ago. When we have heartbreak, and so this comes in so many various forms, right? If you're a little kid, you're just a dude, you show up on the earth, and then your parents are, not wonderful to you, and you're like, you're feeling then heartbroken, right? Why are you feeling heartbroken? Because you just came from a place that knows that this is not the way. That's not the way. You just came from a place of just only pure love. And so then you're thrust back down here to learn what you got to learn, and to evolve how you got to evolve, and to come and to help the people, all the people here, to evolve as well. And you're thrust back down here, and then something's not going right because you're experiencing not love, and you know that it's not right. And this creates all kinds of issues. And then our ego, through self-protection, we need to protect ourselves. We start to push, we start to resist life away, right? We tighten ourselves up, right? When you start to worry about something, what happens? Your body tenses, it tightens up. And when you tense up and when you tighten up, the divine tightens up, and it cannot flow to you. But when you're calm, when you're relaxed, think about this, you're in a deep meditation, and you're the most chill you've ever been. And you're just sitting there, and you're like, oh yeah, life is so good. Maybe you're not thinking of anything, but you're just sitting there. And this is when that divine flow comes to you, right? You get those ideas, you get those things, you get these amazing things that happen to you. But what happens is we don't, take the time and set aside the time for our spiritual practice. And we must do this. It is the same things as exercise, right? You're like, I want to be connected. I want to be happy. I want to have all these things. It's like, you want to get jacked and go to the gym, but you just don't want to go to the gym. It's the same thing. You have to take the time to have this spiritual practice. You have to do it. And so what happens when we have these thoughts that are there ruminating, or that are there in our mind, and we think of someone and we think of them with disdain? What happens is that this is subconsciously, etherically received by this person. And then they might start to think of you in some kind of negative way. I had this situation many years ago, and I know that there's some woman that was putting this stuff out because she kept popping in my head, and I'm like, why is this lady popping in my head? But I knew that it was, her sending me whatever bad juju kind of stuff. It is received. It is received. This is how you have an intuition and knowing. Let's say you walk into a room, and then all of a sudden the vibe changes. Well, what was going on in there? You intuitively know what was going down. You intuitively know. Can you hear the puppy screams in the other room? My daughter's got a nice little mini Australian Shepherd, and she really likes to whine a lot. Sweet little thing. So cute. Anyways, so when we have these thoughts and we want to, we want to reject somebody, here's the way to do this. And I know from personal experience of being harmed, of being hurt, of being all of the things that have happened in the past, this is what I've discovered. That every single one of those things is a beautiful gift for you. It doesn't feel like that way at the time. Heck no, it does not feel that way at the time. In fact, when it first happens, you could be enraged. You could be so sad. You could be devastated. You could be all of the things. It does not matter. But when you look at it through the proper eye, through the proper perspective, and when you shift things, because you'll know the truth and the truth will set you free. So when you're thinking it and it feels like freedom, then you're like, okay, we're getting close. Here we know. And this is the thing. When you look at it, of all these people who have harmed you, well, what happened was that they led you to something, right? Let's say that you had to let go of a friend because they weren't really a great friend. Well, what happened? Well, now you're not going to let that happen again. You've got boundaries. You had to have self-respect to walk away from someone who was mistreating you. And you probably didn't have that self-respect before, did you? No. So this was a gift that this person gave to you. Perhaps you were friends with somebody for a very long time and they really didn't accept certain parts of you, or they tried to dampen them down. Okay, well, at some point then you let this person go and you really can merge into who you truly are, and you can look and you can see, well, thank you. What a gift that was to know what that's like. So that first of all, so that I don't ever do that to anybody. And second of all, so that I don't ever accept that ever again in my life. And it makes you stronger every single time. Every relationship that ends, all of the things, if you're friends with somebody one day and you're not the next, there is a purpose behind it. But it's hard to see it at the time. It's hard to see it at the time. Sometimes it takes a couple weeks, sometimes it takes a couple months, sometimes it takes a couple years. But you'll see it, but you have to look for it, and then you'll find it. So there was this one man, and he really liked to he just lied. He just made up all of these things, this blatant lies, made up all these things. And I was extremely upset by this. But then I realized after the fact, and it didn't take long, but I was mad about it first, rather than being thankful immediately, which I should have been, and I know this now, so this was a wonderful lesson that I've learned, was that person now not being in my life is protecting me from other people who might be like them. Because if someone would believe their lies, they cannot hear the truth. None of the people that they're hanging out with, they're not about the truth. And so if the people that they're telling are believing this, well, then those people are also not the people that I want to be around, because they could be just as dangerous as this person and they could do the same thing. It's always protection. It's always protection when something ends. And so when you can realize that, and you can, rather than having to go through all the anger and the sadness and the despair, which, we got to go through these things. We can't lie to ourselves. We have to experience them. So go through it, make it as temporary as possible. And then also just know, okay, I know that this is being done for me. This is being done for me. I know it. I know this is being done for me. I know it's being done for me. And as soon as you can shift into that, and that you can just sit in that, and you can put a smile on your face, and you can sit there and you can meditate and say, I don't know why. I mean, it would be really great if you could tell me right away, or if you could give me some kind of something, or just give me relief in some other form, or bring in some other wonderful thing to replace this other thing that has ended. And then expect it, and then it will happen. This is how it works. So the question was, can I still hold disdain for somebody if I'm not speaking the words? Well, of course you can do whatever you want, but it's you that you're harming by doing this. First of all, because you are still allowing that person to pull on your energy, right? If you're still thinking about them, imagine you only get so much energy every day, and just imagine that it comes off your head like strings, okay? Well, how many of those strings does that person hold in their hand? When you think about them in disdain, they're pulling your energy, they're using it. And what's happening here is you're sending that energy to them, you're giving it to them. And so if they were like me, man, I'd pick it up, I'd pull it in, I'd transmute it, and I would keep it for myself. If anybody wants to send me any kind of energy, thank you. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad, middle, doesn't matter, none of it, because I'm going to take it, and I'm going to transmute it, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to turn it into something beautiful. But when we're unaware of this, and somebody's pulling on our energy, that's it. They're pulling on your energy. You're going to feel drained. You're going to feel tired. You feel exhausted. You might feel more frustrated. You might feel more disdain. It might get worse over time because you already know all of this. And you already know that it is harming you when you're doing it, because it harms you the moment that you're doing it, right? It doesn't feel good. This is harm. What would be better? To forgive that person, to be thankful for that person. Think, man, well, first of all, I'm thankful that they're not in my life anymore. And I'm thankful that I don't have any other friends that are this way. And I'm thankful that I learned it when I did and I didn't let it go on a minute longer. And I'm thankful for all of the lessons that I've learned. And I'm thankful that I had to really be courageous and strong to end that friendship, even though, I didn't really want to. I was comfortable with it. There's so many things that you can be thankful for. And when you focus on that, what happens? You're keeping all that energy for yourself, baby. It's all yours now. You're not giving it away anymore. It's yours. And so you're actually going to feel more energized. You're just going to feel physically better. And you're going to be more in alignment with the truth. You're going to hold more light within you, because anything that is in alignment with the truth is made of beautiful light. Beautiful, beautiful light. So I'll have many clients, like we're finished a session and they're like, oh man, I feel so much lighter. Like I had this, I didn't even realize, I had this heaviness sitting here or wherever it happened to be, and it's gone. This is because we actually physically hold these things in our body. You know that we are not our body, but we are the energy that underlies it. We're not our body. We're the energy. This is why, if somebody comes to me for healing, oh, I can't walk. Okay, well, you're gonna in a minute, because you're holding the wrong energy in your body, which is causing your body not walk. But the reason why it's happening is because it's trying to tell you something. There's some message that needs to be conveyed. Either it's because there's been some type of thought that's going on that has been degrading over time, that part of your body physically, or perhaps the divine is like, hey dude, did you forget about me? I need to renew your faith. And maybe that's the reason why it's happened. There's so many different reasons why it could happen. But there's nothing that cannot be healed. There is nothing, not one thing on this whole entire planet, not one thing that cannot be healed through divine love. Absolutely nothing. Your well-being is of the utmost importance. And it is only us. It's only our mind. It's our ego. It's all the things that distort it, that cloud over that perfect love that's shining on you all the time. It's shining on you all the time. And it wants to infiltrate every cell, every molecule of your body. It just wants to be in there. But as soon as we start thinking angry, resentful, disdain, remorse, regret, grief, all of the lower frequencies, it's like the clouds roll in. The clouds roll in and they go in front of us. And then the light, the light's always shining on you. It never stops. It is you that has put the clouds in front of yourself through your thinking. And so the only way that you can eradicate it is to cleanse the mind of everything that it is not. And I mean, it sounds like, oh, how do you do that? Well, this is how you do it. You systematically go through your mind and cleanse it. And this is, why I made the Mental Cleanse series when I had been going through this enlightenment several years ago. And was like, dude, I know that at some point it's going to get so busy, I'm not going to be able to help other people. So then I made this series so that people could just go on and they can do it for free. Because the divine wants it done. And the divine wants our minds cleansed so that we can be in that pure flow. This is the purpose. This is why we're here in the world. This is why we've come. So that we can uplift the planet. And by holding any of those lower frequencies things, so anything that does not feel like freedom within you, this is the clouds. This is what blocks the beautiful light from shining in, like to the full extent of enlightenment. Once you cleanse away that last little whatever's left there, bam, that's it. You're in it. You're in it. But how long does this take? Totally depends on the person. I started reading the Christ letters, I think it was probably 2018, maybe, no, probably wasn't. That's when I wrote my book, so probably late 2018, 2019, maybe, I don't know. And so I had been studying, but I'd always been a very spiritual person. But it was when I read the Christ letters that I was like, dude, wow, this is the truth. And I hear the truth. I hear it. It's different. It tastes like candy in my ear, in my right ear. When I'm hearing something, it just hits me differently, so I know. This is, one of the reasons why, any of those games is you have to lie. And my kids are like, I don't want to play. You always know. And it's like, because I can actually hear it. It's different. It's a different frequency. And so, because of this, I'm reading this, and I'm like, man, this is unbelievable what I'm hearing. First of all, this makes my life make sense. This makes everybody's life make sense. And the fact that I've been doing hypnotherapy for I don't know how many years at that point. I'd started in 2015. So I'm seeing all these patterns with my clients, and this is talking about it in the Christ letters. This is Christ return saying, hey, this is the actual message. This is actually how I healed people. I came with an entirely new message. And that's the message that's in there. And I'm reading this, and I'm seeing it, and I'm witness to it 100%, because I will have somebody come. So this is really neat. So let's say that somebody has a problem with somebody else, and they're like, this is an actual example, and they're like, man, every time that I run into this person, they're so rude, they're so mean to me, they blah blah blah. I always have this experience, and like I don't even want to run into this person, and it was so extreme. That they're coming to me and that they bring it up during a session. It's like, okay. So we deal with it. What do? I, do some techniques. I have them go up. They're in the subconscious mind when we're doing this, but I have them go up and I have them talk to that person. I have them show that person how they've been treated and how it feels to be treated that way. And this person, in this session is reacting like, they had no idea that they were coming across this way. They didn't even know. Keep in mind, this person did not actually speak to this person like legit, like in real life. But then they came back to me a week later, because most people come to me about 3 times, and they come back a week later and they're like, wow, it was amazing. No, I ran into that person and they were so kind and they were so nice and they talked to me and blah, blah, blah. Why did this happen? Because that person, prior to their session, had this belief, probably because they had one interaction with that person that didn't go good, and they're really good at manifesting, and so then they put out this feeling of fear of, I hope that doesn't happen again. And then they thought about it a lot, and then maybe they spoke about it, and then they run into this person and it happens again, and then they run into this person and it happens again and again and again. The reason why it was happening was because of their belief. And so when we healed that, when we talked to that other person's higher self, and we did the work that we were doing together, they changed their belief. They completely changed their belief. They saw, this person understands. They didn't know that they were this way. They don't want to be this way, and that was it. And so then they ran into them again later, and because their belief had changed, that person had changed. I've seen it happen myself in my own life. Expecting somebody to behave a certain way, and then every time that you see them, they behave that certain way, and what a detrimental thing that is. And then when you catch yourself and you realize, oh man, it's me doing it. Why would I think that there would be an exception to the rule? Why did I think that there would be an exception, and that this person was just put here, to torture me or to do whatever it happened to be? And as soon as then I shifted my belief, then all of a sudden that person behaved completely differently. So just examine your mind. What kind of beliefs are you holding that are truly damaging you? And they're not just damaging you, they are clouding. They're putting up the clouds. And then it's blocking that divine flow that wants to flow on you every single second, every single moment of the day, all day long. And it is only us. It is our mind. It is our thoughts. And it's the words and action that we take, but those words and actions only come from the thought, right? There is consciousness first. That's where it comes from. And because we just allow our mind to not be controlled, because we've always done it this way, it wreaks the same patterns, and they just repeat again and again and again. And we say, why does this happen to me? Why does this happen to me? I know somebody, and every time that you see them, they want to tell you a sad story, right? Like, can you believe that this happened? And it's like, dude, I don't even want to hear it. I don't care. Like, that stuff is not in my world. I don't understand how these things are keeping happening to you, and that you're not understanding. I mean, I understand why. I'm just not understanding why that person is not identifying that. It's them. Because none of these other things are happening to any of the other people that they know. You know this too. Your own consciousness dictates your life. This is why certain things happen to other people 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many times, and they've never happened to you. Is because they hold a belief within them that gets more solid every time that they get proof of their belief, but they don't realize that it's the belief. It's only the belief that they're getting proof of. They think that it's the thing, that the thing is real, but there's nothing solid under the sun, my friends. Your consciousness is made of the exact same thing as all the visible matter that you see around you. This is why when Jesus would heal people and somebody has some tumor, had something in their body, no, they don't. They do not have it in their body, and he would eradicate it because he knows that nothing is solid. And that words spoken with true conviction can create instant change. Just like that. Just like you can instantly let go of any resentment that you hold towards anybody else right now. You can. And you know that if you don't, you're going to have to come back and do this again with that same person. And so they're going to have to re-harm you. And so that you can relearn to forgive them. But we don't want that. We don't want that. No. You can instantly forgive people and you can thank them. You can thank them. Because I'll bet that you've harmed someone at some point as well. Maybe you didn't even know that it happened. Probably not. But when we can have compassion for other people, and we can always look through whatever perspective it is that we need, so that we can feel that freedom, so that we can be in the divine alignment, so that we can be in the truth, then our life will change. Because there is nowhere that the divine love is not. I'm telling you, there's not one place. But it is the mind that brings the clouds, and then we're not able to see it. It is in every leaf. It is in every blade of grass. It is in every hair on your head. There's nowhere that it is not. And when you can see it, you will see how much more beautiful the world is, because you'll be walking around like, man, I live in heaven. Man, I live in heaven. I live in heaven. Wow, it's got to be heaven. Look at this stuff. And what you see with your eyeballs visibly will have actually changed. You know when you're not feeling good. You know, nothing looks good. Everything looks a little bit dark, a little bit dingy. You probably even keep yourself inside. You don't turn the lights on, and you sit there and you sit in that same frequency, that same vibe without the light. Right? And then what happens when finally somebody comes and they drag you out of the house and you go outside and that sunshine hits you, and you maybe sit outside and you breathe in that beautiful fresh air, and then all of a sudden you feel a little bit better. Why is this? Because of the light. Because you're now more in alignment, because you're seeing things as they truly are, rather than that environment that is constantly around you that you have imbued with the frequency that is the same frequency as you. So if you were, bummed out, well, now everything around you is filled, imbued with that same bummed out frequency, so you're seeing it everywhere. Then you go outside and all of a sudden, ooh, it's fresh air, there's some sunshine shining on there, and this is a beautiful gift that's given to you, and you could contaminate that too, but I mean, why would you want to do that? You could go out there and you could uplift yourself, and then when you come in, maybe you come back into the house and you're like, you know what, maybe I need to put some lights on in this house. Maybe I need to clean up a little bit. Maybe I need to, I don't know, energetically cleanse this place. Because you recognize in everything that you're seeking, you are seeking that connection with the divine. But we find it in things. We can find it in anything, right? You go out and you get drunk. Well, what happens? Well, you momentarily, when you were feeling that uplifted joy, that's what you were feeling, was the divine connection. Because I'm telling you, every single thing is the spirit, so it's literally in everything. And so when you go in there and you're drinking and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to have fun. Well, what are you drinking? You're drinking a belief. You can do the exact same thing with water. When I came back from my cabin, I, in this just amazing state. But you're not always at 100%. You know the truth and you're there and whatnot, but you're not always in that literally glowing state. And so I had some water on the counter, and I was like, oh, and I thought of communion a little bit differently. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to drink enlightenment out of this glass. And I blessed it, and I drank it down, and boom, it came on again. Just like that, you can put it in anything, because what you're putting in there is your belief. And consciousness lingers. So this is why, let's say that you're consuming somebody else's products, or you're doing something like this. Well, what consciousness did they put in there? A perfect example is food, right? If somebody really loves to cook, you can taste the love in the food. because they're loving what they're doing at that time. You can taste it, where somebody could follow the exact same recipe, but they do not love to cook. And what's that food going to taste like? It's going to taste like garbage, because you can actually taste it. Because there's consciousness literally in every single thing. This is what they say, always add love. That's what they mean. They don't. You can sprinkle on the love. You can do it however you want. But when you love to cook, it's already being put in there. This is why when people are passionate about their work, like I'm passionate about the kind of work that I do, the spiritual things, this is why it has such a strong, powerful impact. Because I love what I'm doing. I've put love into it. And I don't got to be like, I got to make sure that I remember to put love in it. No, it just comes natural. What's the thing that just comes natural to you? What is it that you love doing? Because that's the thing that you're meant to do here for this world, darling. That's what you're supposed to do. You know the difference, right? You go into a muffin shop and you buy a muffin from these people and they love what they're doing and they got the best freaking muffins you ever had in your life. And then you go into a muffin shop and all they got is employees in there who are just working for a wage and they don't care about the muffins, and you can taste it. So if you have some kind of something that is pulling you that's like, oh, I just love this. Ooh, I just wish that I could do a job that had this. You have to make it happen. You have to make it happen, and the way that you make it happen is by realizing all the barriers and the barricades that you have put up between you and that thing. And every single one of them has come from your mind. It has come from your consciousness. And when you can eradicate all them, and I'm not saying it's going to happen just overnight like that. Maybe it'll take you a couple years, but when you start to work towards the steps and do the thing, you're not going to be behind. It's going to be the exact right time. It's never too late. It's never too late to do the thing you're meant to do here. It's never too late. But when you follow that thing that you're passionate about, then what are you doing? First of all, you're going to be in divine alignment and you're going to be putting the love out. And the love is the only thing. It's the only thing. It's the only thing that matters, but it's also the only thing that exists if you would only believe in it. And if you would only put your faith in it, then it is what you will be witness to in your life. This is what I have for you guys here today. So I've told you guys before, but we have daily circles. These are called Christ Light Circles. You can go in my bio. You can go on my website and just look up Cosmic Christ Force. And there will be a link to join our daily circle. I would love to see you there. This is donation based. It's a suggested donation of $55, but you can donate anywhere from $5 to $555. You can do however you want. And as you join these circles, what do? We get in there. My friend Alora, she will open it up, set the container, and then I will channel a message. And then she might add to it. And then we open it up to you guys. What do you need to say? Is there something that brought up that needs healing? And then if it needs healing, then we're going to heal it right then and right there. And then we're going to channel another message, and we're going to keep going until everybody that has joined our circle has gained something from it. And everybody's just going to leave feeling absolutely amazing. And if you happen to be traveling, visiting Sedona, pop me a message. You can find a way to contact me on my website. And I would love to meet you in person, but I would also just love to see you join a Zoom. I love you guys. Take care. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next one.